See, I hit close and it pulled up the www.
Sure. We are officially taking Misty off computer duty.
I've messed the screen up twice tonight.
Can I push this button or is it going to
See, I hit the Google Chrome thing and that's why it opened up that screen. Well, who all's in here tonight? We're going to change the subject.
Good evening. We're going to allow a few more people to get on.
Little feet.
How are y'all, Mimsy?
I've been talking to Mimsy and Miss Diana Justice Acres.
Miss Diana Justice Acres. Got a lot to talk about. So we'll have hopefully a good show. Sue Downtown Mini Homesteader, how are you?
Thanks for joining us.
We will allow a few more people to get on before we start. Sue Hartswigson, welcome. I probably butchered your last name.
I don't think I could have said that.
Henry's Honeys, what's going on? Dawn Golf, Phyllis Wimhainer, how are you? Supper at 7. Thank y'all. I know we probably butcher all these people's names, huh? We're used to easier names. Blackpack, Homestead, Chris and Marilla, welcome. Hart Weekson. I did pretty good on there. Hey JNCs, hey Arkansas Woodcutter, how are y'all? Long time no see. You're right. So, well, thank y'all for coming on tonight.
Yes, we absolutely love catching up with you guys every week.
Sonia Piper, West Virginia. I bet it's a little chilly up there. I bet y'all's leaves are looking beautiful up there in West Virginia.
Yep. I know in Tennessee they were saying that next week was supposed to be the full peak. Yep.
Love this time of year. It's my favorite time. I love going outside in the mornings and seeing the leaves fall. It's my favorite time of year.
Yep, she said they are.
Yeah, we had some.
Nothing says fall like leaves.
Yeah, definitely. So we are glad you are here. So we'll talk a little bit about the garden and kind of start off with, kind of get some updates there. And then we will maneuver on to fencing and the rest of the conversations for the night. And wherever it leads us, somehow we'll end up on mayonnaise or something like that, huh?
Oh, thank you. I sure don't feel like it.
She feels
especially after today. Like today's been I think this whole week, because we've been working every night almost until dark this week. So
you're doing already. Well, you just started in the morning.
And I have hit 30 weeks. So that makes
hey, Miss Darlene,
my luggage that I carry a little bit more weighty. That makes sense. A little bit more heavy.
Hey, fancy farmer. Yes, so gardens. Let's talk about that. It's actually, what's so crazy is we were just talking about the broccoli, the second set of broccoli and lettuce. It's still a little warm here this week. So
thank you, our cabin in the woods.
Our lettuces have slowed. They have not actually started coming up really good so far. So
the broccolis have.
Yeah, well, the first set of broccoli, second set of broccoli is a little
but they're coming up.
Oh yeah, they're coming up. Yeah.
You got to remember we had a time gap in between when we planted those too. So I expect that.
Hey, real life.
But also, we'll talk about the turnip greens a little bit, kind of what we did there. So I think you were busy and didn't get to record any of that. So none of that will be on video.
If you remember me talking about the video that talked about us planting early. Okay. They all came up great, but the mind has changed thing. It really goes back to where we originally were. So we planted early. We had a great start to harvest. However, because they were so early and still had a good bit of heat, a lot of those first turnips.
Well, we ate several meals off of those.
But they had a lot more, I guess, bug presence or however you want to call it. So
the most mature rows, the ones that we planted earlier, like you were saying, had a lot of aphids and a lot of caterpillars.
The rest is booming, but you're always going to sacrifice rows when you're organic like we are. So we had to sacrifice some rows, so we sacrificed those 2 rows, but the rest of the garden is doing phenomenal. So all the greens are looking great.
So it's kind of like a win-law. It's kind of like I mean, I don't know how you would describe it. It's good and it's bad. I mean, you know, we hate that we lost those 2 rows.
But you got to remember,
But then we have other rows that are doing amazing.
We've got 6 more rows of just pure greens, and
they
booming.
look amazing.
There's so much we're not going to be able to eat them. We're still eating. We could actually still eat some of the frozen ones we had from last year. So everything's going really good. The mustards are doing great. Collards are doing great. Turnips are doing great. The second set, but the first set, like I said, I think we were a little early on those. Now, our broccoli, our fresh broccoli, our first broccoli, is actually doing really good. We've not had any blooms yet.
Some fresh collards.
Hey, fresh collards are my favorite.
But you can't eat them without cornbread. You have to have cornbread.
I can eat them alone or with somebody. It don't matter. I love collards. That's my favorite. But our broccoli's doing really good. So let's talk about that over there. That big bed is pretty much rocking, except for those 2 rows of turnips. We sacrificed those, and we're used to that because of organics.
We did go ahead and put some DE on all of the ground, all of the broccoli that's over there, the rest of the green, leafy green vegetables. We did go ahead and just sprinkle those with some DE. And I think that's going to help a lot too.
Blackback, Misty likes sweet cornbread more than I do. I'm not crazy about it. She likes it, especially with bitter greens. That's her favorite. I'd rather eat a hot cornbread, like a.
So instead of putting like 1/4 of a cup of honey or 1/4 of a cup of sugar, I usually use about half when I want sweet cornbread. When I want sweet cornbread with something like that.
Misty measurements, it's probably close to about 2 or 3 cups.
No, it's not.
She likes sweet cornbread. I'm okay with it. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'd rather eat more of a hot cornbread with mine. We don't make a lot of bread. So. I always put more red pepper and green pepper in mine anyway, so I spice it up. But the greens are doing great. So we're over on the raised beds. You saw some videos on those. The fall potatoes are jamming. They're doing good. Now, it's always our biggest fear. Are they going to make it before a frost comes? So our first frost
date. They've grown tremendously. But we talked about covering them up.
Yeah,
getting some of our,
we do have some row cover.
Covers and cover them up. So we're going to try that. Just keep an eye on the weather because the weather fluctuates. One week we might have a hard winter, and the next week we might have like a August day.
Well, see, Friday we had next week. It was about 40 that morning, and then it got up to about 65 that day. A beautiful, beautiful day. And Saturday was a gorgeous day, but it started warming up a little bit, and all this week's gonna be in the 80s. So it's
and then it turned around. Now we're back to summer.
Yep, all the way back. So,
well, in midday we're summer. We're like springy, fallish, and then it gets back hot during the day.
Fancy Farmer, I'm not saying we don't trick or treat. We used to go to.
We don't personally celebrate Halloween. That's not exactly what we teach our kids. We do like a fall. We try to teach them that we celebrate the fall.
So we do a lot of trunk or treats here. Mississippi, in rural Mississippi, I mean, like when we grew up, you didn't go door to door because there was really no door next to you. So you got in a car and drove. And you go this
city town. Yeah. They do trick or treating in the city.
The last few years, which we didn't. Well, we did last year, but it was a little late. We didn't go to the neighborhoods as much as we went there. But we've been going to the Smokies and actually spending time up there on Halloween and just letting the kids just really see that kind of almost like neighborhood style, picturesque movie Halloween, I guess you could say. More neighborhoods. We don't have a lot of that here, but they are opening up Halloween here. They just said, the cities are not backing it because they're scared of the liability of it. But Halloween's going on here.
We have a hoedown. Yeah, that's kind of what we usually do. Last year, like Colby said, we were in the mountains, and we dressed up as the 7 dwarfs, and they had the island opened up stores. Basically, it's like an outdoor mall, and we just let the kids go in and get some candy, and that was kind of the extent of it.
Our life at Hidden Meadow Farm. What's going on? How are y'all?
The year before that, we just went to see family. We let them dress up as little different things, and we just went to see family. We try not to ever make a huge deal out of Halloween. And
that's always a busy time on the farm for us too. And we're either gone or if we're doing something that we never get caught up. So. When it comes to The raised beds, though, they're doing great. Oh, we kind of got off subject. I'm sorry. But the raised beds are a little bit slower than we are wanting, but they are doing good. The potatoes, like Missy said, they were jamming. They're looking good. We still have our sweet potatoes
the carrots are coming up.
Really good too.
Onions are coming up. And then the other sets of broccoli are coming up. Yep. So we're getting there.
We actually have some volunteer onions and garlic coming up too. So we're going to plant more, but we have a lot more volunteers coming up for that too. So that's really good too. So the gardens are doing great for us. Our what do you call it? Loofahs are doing phenomenal. We actually have a cool little video coming out. We're going to do some more no-till and no-dig gardens on the backside of our property, kind of where our chickens have been, kind of where the loofahs are, and do more of a, if y'all ever watch Charles Dowding, those kind of things, or Pete Canaris, it's going to be more of a sustainable, kind of more edible landscape. It's going to be more of an edible landscape. So we're going to try that.
We started that.
Yeah, we really
because y'all seen, like, if you walk out of our back porches down where we do s'mores and stuff, all of that is blueberries. We have an herb bed mixed with the blueberries right outside the back porch. So really our mindset has changed over just the past 5 or 6 years of, instead of planting like roses and, whatever flowers, we do some flowers for the bees.
Right.
But instead of beautifying it, we've really tried to make it edible. So that's really been our main goal with planting here around the house. I'm
excited about it. We have 2 crabapple trees sitting right there by the blueberries that Missy's talking about, the herbs.
We also have raspberry, baby raspberries. Already put off some raspberries.
So we're gonna add to that, and we're just gonna kind of let it go down the hill and make it where it's just, like I said, more of a Charles Dowding backyard kind of theme where everything grows and we just keep planting on top of each other and let it just be just not a mess by no means, but just really heavy companion planting all through there. Very excited about trying that. So you'll be able to see that as we take grassy areas and make them even more beautiful.
South Mississippi, the weather has been amazing. It's pretty cool in the mornings. It feels wonderful in the afternoon. Still pretty warm during the day. You're not going to go out and not break a sweat still. Yes, roses are edible. We use a lot of rose hill.
Yep, so we use a lot of
but I have not done enough studying to do my own. But we do have what specific?
We have knockout
roses.
That's the only kind. If we have any flowers around our house, it's knockouts. We like them. Sam, how are you, man? What's going on?
I love the playground at your house. Did you build it yourself?
Somewhat. We did a co-op with that. We had a guy build some of it, and then we built some of it, and then another guy kind of helped finish up on the last piece.
We designed it.
Yeah, we did design it.
But we did have some more experienced people come in
and put we were putting some of
the construction together for us.
Rehab Life, we have a huge strawberry patch that we did really good with, grew it up. It's doing good. It's doing better now than it's ever done, but it just kind of got weak because we were trying this new approach that somebody told us about, and it didn't work as good.
Yeah, we tried to do some research and get some input from some other people. And
hey, Sean, Alaska.
Basically, we were told to don't let your runners go and to sacrifice your fruit for the first year so that your plant was not putting all of its energy in runners and fruit.
Thanks, Black Pack.
And that to let the roots mature and establish themselves really in that first year. And that the next year your plant would just double produce itself.
But they were saying still be cautious on second year. It's almost like a fruit or asparagus. They were trying to say 1 year nothing, 2 year little, 3 year lots.
But when our strawberry, even when the blooms come, like we lost a few, and then even when and I don't know if that was just opening it up to when you were constantly snipping, if that was just kind of opening it up to disease. I'm not sure what went wrong. I don't know if maybe bugs got down in the soil and that's what went wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but I also do know that when the blooms started coming back and the berries started showing up, they were like dime size, to where when they were producing, I mean, they were huge, they were beautiful. I could not have asked for prettier strawberries. But when I was picking the blooms and taking the runners off,
doing the right thing.
The plants did grow. I mean, I won't say that they were not growing. They were growing. But then I did lose some. And then when the blooms started coming back and the strawberries would actually show up on there, they were like
small,
tiny. So I don't know if I have messed those up.
Well, we're hoping for a better harvest even next year and the next. We're just going to keep babying them. The strawberry patch looks beautiful, man. They really do look pretty.
Kim says she picks the blooms but let the runners go. Our thing with that was I wouldn't have mind probably having rows, but I was trying to keep a plant to itself.
Yeah.
Because we had rows in between, and they were on the, what was the black stuff my brain is having a.
They were on the
weed
barrier.
Just
a weed barrier, and that was a joke too.
So my thinking was to try to keep one plant, and like I was reading, I mean everything I read made sense to let the roots establish themselves.
Bump that.
But I don't think it worked. That did not work well for us.
We're just gonna we actually are gonna buy some more to fill in some of those holes that we were talking about. We have about 40 plants, and we should be having a crazy surplus of strawberries. So what we're gonna do this next year is bump doing all the things we've learned, and we're just gonna let them grow.
Just plant them and let them go.
That's what we do with our blueberries, and they flourish.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
People tell us to prune and all that.
We have let ours go, and we have blueberry. Like I have tons, and I have freezers full of gallons of bags of fruit of blueberries in the freezer that we picked just from this past spring, and that was just off of what, like 1, 2, maybe 6 plants, and they're only 4 or 5 years old.
They're gorgeous. They're absolutely gorgeous.
All right, somebody said, do you know what variety you're growing? June.
I can't remember.
There were a few.
The strawberries.
Yeah, we.
The Everberry was one.
June was one, is it Everberry? Ever?
I don't know. We got ones that are supposed to be the big red ones, like the big juicy ones.
I think I will say this: June berries.
The ones that we do get, the smaller ones, if you eat them, they just melt in your mouth. They're absolutely great. So, I'll be honest with you.
Last year, blueberries very acidic soil.
Yeah, keep this time of year, put pine straw around them, and they'll do phenomenal. Hey, Stacy, how are you? But our blueberries are great. Our strawberries are coming along. I wish they'd be stronger, and I want raspberries stronger too. We have 2 raspberry plants, and we got a few little ones off there, but we're going to trellis them this next year, and we're hoping for a really good harvest of raspberries next year.
None of my fruit trees produced this year. Just hang in there. We have had fruit trees planted for 5 and 6 years, and this was our biggest plum year. We got
monster plum.
Last year we got like 5 or 6, and this year we had like 350, 400 plums. So just hang in there. Fruit is one of those things you really, really have to be patient with.
I tell you, I struggle with fruit. I mean, I just get
what soil I think is the biggest thing. Knowing what pH that they want.
Fruit is moody.
Fruit is it's like chicken.
I know.
June bearing.
We're doing June bearing and ever bearing. I think we're doing both, or every bearing. I think we call it ever bearing here. But we do that. We do a fall. We do a spring and fall, Kim. Yeah, ever bearing. Okay. Let's see.
June bearing fruit and spring only.
Mimsy's Garden. We used a citrus organic. Let me think of the name of it. It was made by Garden Expert, and then the next one was made. We also used just regular. If we're looking for nitrogen, we always use our fish emulsion, even around the fruit trees. But this year we used a organic citrus mix, basically, and it was OMRI listed. We used that for the lemons and the orange, and for the fertilization around the the elderberries, we used the chicken fertilizer. And I think the plums, we did nothing. We
planted it. And now plum and peach are supposed to both not have leaders. And to what that means, I went to a fruit seminar this past
You make them look like an ugly umbrella.
An umbrella, right. So a tree grows up with a main stalk, right? And then all the branches come off. Well, in fruits and plums, that main branch, you're supposed to cut and let it grow, let the limbs grow out, and it looks like an upside down umbrella.
We have a little video snippet of it.
It was already done. We did not do that. We did do that to our peach trees.
Right. Hey, Craig, what's going on, man?
But the plum tree was already done for us. We were very frustrated last year when we walked out and saw this big, huge, beautiful tree and only had a handful of plums. I'm talking about super poop. I mean, I was like, very disheartened.
For what now?
The plum tree. Remember, we walked out last year and there was like this big, huge, beautiful tree, and there was like a handful of plums on there.
This year, though, was crazy.
This year was totally loaded. I think maturity, making sure that the soil pH is right, and cross-pollination is a huge deal with fruit. So plums can cross-pollinate. Let's see.
Plums and peaches, and then you got apples and pears.
That's
and
right.
So our bees do.
And then
very
they
well
kind of need the same thing as far as apples need leaders. So do not do that to your apple tree, and do not take the leader off of your peach tree, of your pear tree, because they need their leader. So you basically, if you're going to prune them, but do not take off your leader. And that's the only thing I could tell you about that.
Drops, blueberries, you want to put pine straw.
Yes.
Pine straw helps with the acidity of the soil.
And blueberries really like acidic soil. Plum looks good, cherry dyed. And I would always say on any fruit tree that you need 5 to 8 years of growth and maturity before you're going to really get a good.
I wouldn't use pine shavings. 2 different properties. Unless they're old.
Straw.
I wouldn't use pine shavings at all. If they're bedded in chicken manure and they're composted, you can use that in some places. But even around your blueberries, pine straw makes them thrive. You can take it straight out from a pine area and do it. So it's always worked good for us, and we always have a huge surplus.
I think the weather played a big part in my plum failure.
Fruit is the hardest thing to grow to me.
Fruit is very.
We struggle with
difficult.
Fruit. We can grow anything else, but I mean, we just
our blueberries and our plums have done amazing though.
But we're always trying to learn, so that's what it is. Sue downtown. Pine straw, the pine straw we're talking about literally is falling off the tree and fall like now, raking it up, and we put it right around
the dried needles. Yes, the brown. The
brown needles. I like Mayhaw jelly. That's always good.
I like almost any kind of jelly.
We're not big. There's some people that have ground cherries around here. We're not big ground cherries fans. We're not even good cherry fans. We have one child that likes cherries. We really wanted to see mulberries grow this year here because we had some cuttings, but they didn't work. They didn't work like the elderberries did. Elderberries are booming though. So.
Yeah, I've got several in the greenhouse that I will transplant in the ground probably.
Really, we should be doing it now.
Probably now or next month.
Yeah.
When they go I'm gonna wait till they go dormant and then get those planted.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a surplus of pine needles here. I mean, it's just crazy. We can go right under any set of trees and get anytime we want to.
Anytime is a good time for jelly. I totally agree with that.
We have black elderberries. We actually have the Sambucus nigiri, or however you say that. That's what we usually grow here.
They're native to our area, so they're wild. And we cleared across the road right behind our fence is a set of trees that were just there. And I went out one day. I was flagging that man down. I was like, hey, you can't get these right here.
What Aiden call him? Shirtless wonder.
Yeah. He was in his little thing driving around, and I went and flagged him down. I was like, I kind of did the same thing I did with the bees that day. There was a man out there spraying. Just drove up on our truck on our property. He knows now. I gave him a 101 in beekeeping that day. Oh well.
Stacy, I agree. Around here, pine shavings. I mean, pine needles. You can get just a surplus. So.
Yep. Well, let's talk to them a little bit about what we're doing on our milk right now.
Okay, so milk prep. When we talk about milk prep, we don't have Elsa anymore. I couldn't get that out. So we just have Allie, and so Allie's been milking. Allie milks a good 2 gallons during regular spring and summer seasons with good grass. It slows down in this time of year because right now you're kind of between really good grass and ryegrass growing. So hey, Mama Z's. So she's been giving us about a gallon and a quarter to a gallon and a half on average right now. So we freshen up. We'll be freshening up kind of the first or mid of December. So
Bye, Mimsy.
when we talk about freshening up, that means 2 months we were without milk because we don't have another milk cow now. We're just milking 1 cow. So what do we do during that time? So we started freezing milk. So now we're
Let me give you the spiel on this.
Do the spiel.
We're a part of Justin Rhodes' private group, and so I had gotten on there. I really like the group because we can kind of give information, take information. I had gotten on there and asked about as far as freezing milk, because we have taken store-bought, homogenated, pasteurized milk before and froze it. And when it defrosts, if any of you guys know that it gets a very weird texture, I would say that the taste is okay, but the texture completely changes. And it like gets clumpy and watery. It's like the white parts will clump up, but then yes, it's gross. It's disgusting. So anyway, I said all that to say this. So I had gotten on the group and asked about raw milk. Nobody could answer my question, y'all. Like, I wanted to know, if you froze raw milk, were there any, like, I need to take the cream off, leave the cream on? Is there a certain way that I need to defrost it, or does it need to, how has anybody frozen in jar versus bags? So I was asking all these questions, and I need to freeze it like right when we milk, like same day, or is like a few days it's sitting in the refrigerator? Is that okay? So I was asking all these questions, and y'all, nobody could answer my questions. So I thought, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to experiment with the milk and see how it goes, because I don't want to put all this milk up and then get it out and it all be wasted. So I took a half a gallon of milk that I had taken the cream off and a half a gallon with cream milk the same day. And the other had been in the refrigerator for a few days. So I got it out, took the cream off, and then I got the one with the cream. I got the one with the cream that was milk that day, and took both of those half gallons, put them in plastic bags, and put them in the freezer. So a few days later, I got all that out, let them defrost. I was really, really nervous. They both turned out perfect. There was no texture change. There was no clumping, no taste change. I was surprisingly amazed, and we were both very thankful, because in that time of, like Colby said, that we were not going to be milking, we were going to be buying store-bought milk, and my kids were like, Mama, we can't go back to that stuff. So I tried it with cream, without cream. It doesn't matter if it's been sitting up for a few days or if it's fresh right out of the cow. I put them both up, took them out, defrosted them, drank them. You could not tell a difference.
Our kids didn't know. We actually didn't tell our kids, and they never knew.
You could not tell a difference at all. So there you go. I've done the research for you. It was really amazing. We're very thankful though, because now I'm up to, I think, 6 gallons in the freezer.
And that's not. I mean,
that's not nearly enough.
That's a
that
week.
Won't last us a week.
Yeah, I mean that's not even near.
So
what
from
we need.
here until I have about 10 more weeks. So from here on out, I'm going to try to get at least 2 or 3 gallons put up a week. But I also won't be, I mean, there might be times where we might be buying a little bit of yogurt, or maybe buying a little bit of butter. I have a huge supply of butter in the freezer already.
Right.
That I have been making and freezing, so that should last us a while as well.
I
might not be able to make yogurt. That might be something we have to conserve our milk and buy yogurt. But
when you have so much milk, you just drink it all.
Yeah.
We're so used to it.
Store-bought milk does not freeze well. No, it does not.
We would struggle going back to store-bought milk.
It's gross. But raw fresh milk, y'all, it is perfect. You can freeze it with cream, without cream. Like I said, it's huge.
It's nothing for Aiden to come get a quart of milk and just drink a quart of milk. Just in a standing. Yeah, just standing at the fridge, just drink a quart of milk.
No, he's not going to be able to do that.
No, I'm going to shoot his foot off if he does that.
When Allie stops milking, we're going to have to be very conservative, because usually, breakfast, lunch, and supper, if they want milk, we pour them all a glass of milk.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's easy, 1.5 gallons for our family, in a day. So we're not going to be able to do that once Allie starts milking. We're going to have to limit milk to breakfast time and then do water for the rest of the day. And I use a lot of milk while I'm cooking.
We cook a lot. So butter and milk are 2 major staples.
Huge things.
Yep.
So, and eggs.
Yep.
So, I was super excited though to know that you can freeze raw milk and it come out just as perfect as it did when you put it up. That was a huge thing for us. And for nobody on the group to know any of those questions, I found it a little surprising, but I've done the research for y'all. So there you go.
It worked really well. So, when we talk about milk though, a lot of people, it's funny because a lot of people don't like milk. And so
y'all are some milk drinking
we
fools.
Love milk. I mean, it's just a major staple because we cook so much and then of course we drink so much.
Yeah, and then in the middle of the night, I usually attack the orange juice at night, but everybody else gets up and drinks milk in the middle of the night.
Drop's Family Garden, you could do either way. We actually skimmed the cream off and then we shook it up and froze it with so
that's what I was saying. I did both ways. I took 1/2 gallon of milk that had been in the refrigerator for a few days, and I took all the cream off and froze the underneath, which would be the skimmed part of the milk. Then I took that day's milk that Colby went out and milked that morning, had the cream and everything already mixed into it, took 1/2 gallon of it, put it in the freezer. They both defrosted perfect.
So both options.
Yes.
Which that is pure. I mean, that is pure organic raw milk. I mean, there's nothing done to it. So we're just taking that and putting it straight in the freezer.
If you need to buy butter, look for the Amish roll butter.
We've got a chunk of butter. The only thing it would probably mess us up is if we just start cooking.
Yeah.
But we have of course pork fat now that's so prevalent to us and our grease that we don't have to use as much butter.
Y'all shake the milk before you drink it, or just drink it skimmed.
Both.
If it has cream on it, we shake it up. If I have taken a jar out of the refrigerator and gotten the cream off to make butter, you still need to shake it up a little bit, but it's not like when you have this much cream on the top, you don't want to just drink straight cream, so we shake it up. Yes. So because if I go shake it up, I don't know who should be calling me. If you don't shake it up, you're just getting the cream off the top.
Man, I couldn't imagine going back to store-bought milk. We've gone without it for so long. Hey Larry, how are you? It kind of freaks you out, and I know a lot of people have read Joel Salatin's book, but everything I want to do is illegal. But when you read that and you listen to how, if you read how burgers are processed and what beef is eating at a stockyard, and you read about the milk, you read about all these things, the additives in honey and chicken, it makes you really think about your food. So milk for us is the same way. The one thing about that milk, I'm milking that cow, and that cow's milk is going in us. Aiden is actually going to be milking for, we've got to go somewhere in November, and he's going to be milking for 4 days. He's staying on the farm with some people staying here, and kind of farm sits, and he's going to be milking for me. And I told him the severity of just making sure you do all those steps correctly, because not only is our cow important, but the milk that we drink is very important. So, when we talk about drinking store-bought milk, you're not drinking from that one cow. You'd be drinking from thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Same way with beef. When we eat our beef, we're eating our beef, not beef from 15 other cows. So I think the importance for us is to keep that going and try not to go back to store-bought milk. So we're going to try to freeze as much as possible. So
yes, I'm going to try to get at least 2 to 2.5, 3 gallons per week for the next 10 weeks. And hopefully that'll last us at least a month and a half, I'm hoping.
Thank you, Miss Sue.
Being very, very conservative.
Yeah, we still have to be very, very conservative.
Hey, I'm not sure if Craig is still on here, but we were talking about gardens earlier and everything was looking great. I saw you post some pictures. That's awesome.
Drop some in the garden. Hogs are easy as long as you have a good net and you train them well to it. They're a breeze.
Who?
Hogs. She asked about hogs. Or she said, I think hogs will be my next step after the garden.
What? Are easy?
They are when they're in there. Now, let me say it like this. We have complicated it because we have 2 sets of babies and trying to keep a boar away from all these sows, which that's the Gur pig thing. Pigs are easy.
You said I can't drink store-bought milk anymore. We totally get it.
If you're raising pigs for feeders or just raising them for babies, pigs are easy. With us trying to do different breeding stock with pigs and try to keep all these babies separated, that could be a little challenge. But pigs are easy. All right, so now
I'll
on the pig
record
conversation.
him from a distance next time he moves the pigs.
I know I'm throwing stuff and everything. So stupid pigs. I want to eat bacon. I want to leave them and eat a pork chop so bad.
I had to stand at the window and laugh.
Let's see.
No, we do not. And if the mamas, we're going to give them to about mid-November. The other 2 sets, we say they're mamas. We don't know if they're mamas or not. The pink pig, short shire blue butt, if they are not delivering by at least mid-November, then they're going to go in the freezer.
They will. Those 2 pigs are probably about 240, 250.
Huge.
They're huge.
They're getting
girl
so
pigs.
big.
So
I think they weigh more than that.
They probably do. They're probably closer to 300. They're huge. They're bigger than the big boy we took. The only thing.
How much did he weigh?
He weighed. Well, no, they were bigger than that. He was hanging weight 200.
Yeah.
So he was a good 3. He's probably a good 350.
And they're way bigger than that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's a stupid moment on my part. They're probably 400 pounds.
They're huge. They're way monstrous. Bigger than that.
Well, I tell you, I don't know what we're gonna do with them if they don't have babies. We're gonna have to probably sell pork shares.
That's awesome, Kim. Doesn't
it
feel good to have that in your freezer?
There's nothing like it. So
nothing like it.
We ate the bacon to me when we eat our bacon sauce. Our sausage is so fresh that almost it's
so tender it almost won't stay together.
Won't stay together. It's just phenomenal. But again, the pigs are good.
Yeah. So no more babies. Just Peppa had her babies, and Stacy, of course, you're gonna get one of the females from us. And they are growing. They are so cute. We were out there yesterday afternoon, and they were just running behind their mama. And I said, that is the cutest thing to watch those babies run across. But yeah, the other 2 that we were expecting have not had babies yet. So if George couldn't do his thing, then they're going to the freezer. I mean, there's no other reason to have them. So if they're not going to have babies.
We'd probably make them all bacon and sausage. I mean, I really don't. We have so much pork chops and ham steaks and hams. And
oh my gosh, I've got ham steaks coming out of our
ears. We had 45 sets of ham steak. I mean, what do you do with that much ham steak? Oh gosh. But we love sausage. That's probably our biggest deal. And we think bacon. Of more than pork chops and Boston butts and hams. We really think of
bacon and sausage.
Yeah, we really think of more breakfast when it comes to actual pig. So I don't know if we're gonna buy another freezer. Actually, somebody called us today about buying a freezer, so we talked about it. I just don't know if we need another one. Blackpack, I'll be honest with you. We've never raised rabbits. Haven't really gotten to really wanting to. However, I did watch, and we're not getting into them, but I will say this. When you watch Joel Southton, I know everybody talks about Joel, but when you watch
his market there,
yeah, we don't really have a big. We have a big market for pet rabbits, not as much meat rabbits,
right?
But I will say this: when you watch Joel Salatin's way he raises his rabbits, and we've seen it firsthand. We went to his farm, and you can see his basically it's a high tunnel that he's closed up, but he raises his rabbits over his chickens, and of course they've got videos. I actually think Justin Rose did one on it this last few days, but it's amazing and how he makes money on rabbits, because rabbits are like pigs; they produce so quickly.
But you know,
So you can
there
make
are
good
so
money
many
on it.
people that have rabbits here that
Yeah.
breed them. I mean,
Rabbits
I
around
really
here are
don't
like
even
chickens
know.
and quail.
Yeah,
You
it's kind of
can't
like
really.
everybody has rabbits or goats.
Yeah.
So, so
if we did it, it would be more just for certain seasons that you'd make money, like Easter.
And I don't know that I would
here we
want
don't.
If we got rabbits, it would be a twofold thing:
Fertilizer
for eat and for fertilizer. Well, I don't really want to eat
black
them.
pack.
I'm not. I've never just like ate rabbit. I'm not sure I would want to do that.
I like
and
rabbit.
It would be too expensive to try to justify feeding them for fertilizer. So
I'm just mixed about rabbits. I'm just if they ever come to us, great, but it's not something that we're just pursuing. But I would almost do a smaller version of the racking house. I mean, just really do something different like that. And drops, and that's kind of what we would be looking at here. If we sold them, we'd almost have to sell them as pets, because a lot of people don't eat meat rabbits unless they're killing them themselves. I mean, if they're hunting them. So for us to make money on them, I don't know if we could do it.
Thank you, Mrs. Celia.
Yeah.
My daughter would end me for eating the rabbits. Yeah, and see, that's me.
Cold fertilizer.
I guess because I
agree, Larry. I actually like rabbit too.
But I wasn't raised on it, so I wouldn't know how to cook it. I don't know that I would just have a taste for it. I don't know. It'd be one of those things where I would have to really mentally like get over that. Because I wasn't raised on. I mean, that would be like us saying we're gonna go get a goat and kill it, and eat it. Well, we weren't raised on goat and cooking goat and eating goat. So I mean,
around here, a lot of people have quail, chicken, goats, and rabbits. There's a big trade area around here, and that's just
like the staple. That's like the thing.
And it's just like they sell and trade each other and all that, and nobody really ever makes money. It's more just enjoyment, and that's all good and all. But for us, since we look at doing more stuff in a sustainable, regenerative, agricultural, homesteading, but entrepreneurial way, we just can't figure out how to really make a lot of money on it. Yeah, duck hunting too. We like duck hunting, but around here you can't hardly duck hunt. You almost have to go to Louisiana or Arkansas.
Well, I'll tell you what is the coolest thing is, since we've had our turkeys, we moved them from one area of the way we rotate all the way back across to the other, where y'all saw us take down all those trees. Mm-hmm. But they have called up wild turkeys, and at any given
day,
yeah, you can walk out where Diddy-O's at, where the temporary fence is, which is furthest away from us. There are at least
10 to 15
every day, and they just wander around out there. It is the coolest thing. Yep.
It's funny because their hens are our heritage breed turkeys will come over here and they will gobble and crow at them and they'll strut and so they're trying to get their attention, and then those turkeys and their gobblers are trying to get our hens' attention. So it's constant, it's just constant because they're calling each other, and it's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
We raised rabbits a long time ago when the rabbit market was down, and some were all 400.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I don't know that there's a market for that anymore, like Colby said, other than like pets. And then you have so many people here that raise rabbits, whether it's breeders or whatever. And there's just not a lot of people in our area that just eat rabbits. So to raise them, I don't know that would be a good market here.
The only reason I thought that could be a good market is because it allows you to. Here, there's not a lot of regulation on it, so that would be the only thing I'm thinking. Well, kind of like poultry, you have a lot of exemptions. I think it allows us to say, okay, well, you can get out of some of the regulation of trying to sell or go to a butcher. You could sell off farm like you do the chicken. So I don't know. I mean,
my dad still calls a rabbit a four-legged chicken.
Actually, I have no problem eating rabbit. We used to just stew it and make it out with a gravy, basically.
See, turkeys walking across the road when I go in.
The Spokane.
Yeah, I have loved going. Like, we'll be doing school in the morning, and a lot of times I'll look out that window points towards the field that Daddy-O's in, and they'll just be out there everywhere. One time I looked up and I thought it was all the baby piglets out there running around, and I started freaking out, and I was like, oh, that's just the wild turkeys. So
Grace Andrews, yes, wild turkeys are a lot smaller and a lot thinner body. They're not going to be as fat as a raised bird here. I don't know if they taste different, other than around here where,
well, they have to forage for all their food, so they don't just get overfed like.
It's kind of like,
I guess ours. We dump food to them.
I say it's gamey. I say it's gamey. So let me compare it. It would be like a wild boar. We've ate wild boar here before, but then you have a domesticated pig. The wild boar is going to have more of a gamey taste to it, and almost a more leaner hog taste than a true conventional hog. So almost the turkey's the same way. A lot of people kill turkey for sport, and they won't keep parts of it. They'll keep the beard and actually not kill. I mean, actually keep it for food. A lot of people just cut the breast out and that's it. But you tend to have a smaller breast or a thinner body on a wild turkey than you will a domesticated turkey.
I used to have close to 1,000.
Oh my gosh!
I could not imagine.
See, that would be my fear, is because they multiply so quick, and it's like, gosh, what am I doing with all these rabbits?
So how often do they have babies? Pigs are 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. But I've not done enough studying on rabbits to know. It's probably going to be within that three mark period as well, because, like you said, they reproduce so fast. I mean, I can hatch a batch of chicks out 21 days. That's pretty fast.
I heard that, Black fact, that before really the industrial style chicken market, that rabbits was kind of the main source of meat. I've heard that too, for more of a smaller home and not raising people doing, like cows and bigger animals. So that's cool.
I guess chickens are more of your every now and then eat a rooster, and mostly egg production, I guess.
200 to 300 pounds of meat from a breeding pair a year. Wow, that is huge.
That's a lot. I want to know how often they reproduce.
I can't remember. It's
got to be within that like 3 to 4 month mark.
I just can't remember.
It's so fast.
I think they can have 3 or 4 sets a year.
I mean, isn't the saying breed like rabbits?
Yeah, like Fibonacci numbers.
I think they can have 3 or 4 sets a year. How many?
4 to 8.
How many can they have in a litter? I mean, the pigs can have like 7 to
4 months possible. Yeah, I always heard they can have 3 to 4. Yeah, I think they can have 3 to 4 litters a year if you do it right.
And the pigs can have like 7 to 12 babies. So the rabbits are probably the same way, huh?
I just like rabbits. I think they're pretty.
They're very pretty.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would want to eat it, especially after I petted it in my lap and
we can always eat something. 7 to 8 litters per year. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
So that's going to be 4 months possible.
1.5 months, 2 months, 45 days, 60 days. That's crazy. What kind of rabbits are y'all growing? What kind of meat rabbits are y'all growing? Quickly, it's 27 days.
Wow.
Whoa. So we were right. So anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks is common.
Wow. You can have 1,000 in no time.
You better be selling some rabbits. If not, you will be eating a lot of them.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. I just don't think we can justify the expense of feeding that many rabbits just for fertilization. I don't think we could justify that.
I guess I thought about trying it one day in a smaller setting.
We have up to 15 babies. Their average litter is 7. That's what Peppa's had both of her litters on Pigwise. She had 7 both times. Hey, Craig and Sam, we have a female and a male left. I think y'all need to come get pig from us.
We do. We have a female and a male left, and we really don't need to keep them.
We need to sell them. I've got to get some more pictures.
I've got one bigger boar
and get those back on D&D.
Yeah, we sure do. Last thing is Petey. Petey's growing.
They saw Petey.
Yeah, the big-eared person. Oh, it's cow, I mean. Petey is growing.
He seems to be pretty sweet, though. I mean,
we got to try him on rotational grazing. He came in winter, so we're not moving them as quick and much as we were moving them. Usually 1 or 2 or 3 days, but I'm kind of nervous I'm off a little bit Friday morning, so I think I'm gonna try to put him out in temporary fence and see how he does.
He needs to be home though, because I'm not chasing that calf. I'm too big. My chasing days are over. I hurt myself the last rooster that I chased, and like really hurt myself. So I'm not chasing any animals. You should see how Becky is looking at me. They're so cute. I have 2 left.
You know, we don't have. I guess because we have our dog, we don't have a. We actually there's a coyote. Somebody called the other day and was like, "Hey, you have a coyote in your yard." For us though, I'm not saying a coyote can't kill everything that's on our farm tonight, but our dog does a very good job of taking care of animals.
She really has. I mean, even the chickens and stuff that get out, like of the fences or whatever,
they just chill.
They always wonder. I'm like, why are you back in the yard? I kind of wish something would just take those out.
Especially that little black one that keeps getting out.
But you know, all I have to do is open the door to the coop, and she goes right back in. I'm fine with that. I'm just not chasing them because I can't. I'm too big to chase them right now. But those Red Rangers.
There's 1 or 2 Freedom Rangers. They just know how to get out. I don't know what it is. They're like jailbreaks.
Well, when we put the babies in there, I think they learned to jump on top of that and jump over. But anyway,
we got 22 new layers.
Oh my heavens!
So that's what it was. So.
We've had problems with chicken hawks. Yeah, the thing with chickens is they're so vulnerable. I mean, unless you have some type of amazing way to lock them in at night, a secure structure to lock them in at night that something can't dig under or open the door to. I mean, you know, you always risk it because they're so.
In 10 years, we had 1 problem last year, or this year. And that was it.
It was a halt.
That's the only time we actually had a problem with flying birds.
It got a few of our turkeys and a few of our chickens before we realized what was actually going on.
Blackpack, we have tons of field rabbits here. I mean, it's nothing for us to pull through our yard and see 5 or 10
coming out of the woods.
Yeah. Yep. Very much. They're just, the smaller rabbits.
Yeah, I was going to say, but I think anything that naturally forages in the woods is going to be smaller because they have to forage for their food. I mean, they don't just get it handed to them by platters every day. I mean,
And don't get me wrong, with our animals, we do feed our animals. However, we want them to forage too. So that's why we do the permaculture nets to make sure
they get fresh grass, they get stuff out of the ground, which is very, very important to us. But they do get fed too. I guess that's why,
I would like to learn about rabbits. Not for just us, but just so we could just understand them a little bit better. So I'm glad some of y'all know a lot about rabbits. I really would like to try them out. Yeah, what's so funny is our dog right now is laying right beside our window and asleep. She literally goes all night. And so in the mornings when I go leave, she crashes.
And then she wants to come in their garage so she can sleep during the day. But that's what she does at night. She roams the farm all night. And I mean, there's been times that she's woke me up. I've heard her barking, and then I'll hear her take off. And even when she is in the yard, she's a Great Pyrenees, which are farm dogs. They are bred to be protectors.
She plays with our calves. She'll go out there and play with the calves.
Yeah, but that's in them. When they know their territory, I would say that they don't bother any human. But if another animal or some type of animal that is not familiar, she's a Great Pyrenees, comes on this property or comes in her territory, she will immediately let us know about it. From the sheep, which is way, way off, to the chickens, which are right here in the backyard. And she does. I mean, she wanders the farm all night, and she'll bark at stuff, but we've never had any problems. It's not since we've had.
She keeps everything safe. I mean, and the permaculture nets do too. I mean, the Premier One nets are
because they're electric. So if something tries to touch them or get in them, they're going to get shot.
But like the other night, during that storm, the sheep were just out. They were just out.
Completely blew our fence down. The whole fence was down, and the sheep got out.
The dog has been so good. I think she just keeps the property clear where those sheep were in no danger whatsoever.
Yeah. So, like I said, her breed is bred to protect their territory, and they're not supposed to leave the farm. She does wander off the farm sometimes. And it's mostly during the day, but she does roam and wander at night. But she's hard-headed and stubborn. I think if we would have gotten her when she was smaller, it would have been the best.
Yeah.
But she was already 2 by the time we got her. But she was born and raised up with goats. That's what she protected. She stayed in a pen with goats. So she knew that her job was to protect those goats.
Fancy Farmer, we don't know how JJ will do with the baby, but it's going to be a dramatic situation, I imagine.
I think there's going to definitely be some jealousy there. Now, he loves to rub my belly and hug my belly. And that's like a 2 or 3 time thing, 2 or 3 times a day thing. He wants to come just be with my belly, and he'll say, baby sister, baby in there. So like he knows, but he doesn't know like yet. So I think when she gets here, there might be a little jealousy there, because I rock him to sleep every night, and I don't know. I don't know. He might do just great. I'm nervous that he's going to try to carry her around more than anything. I will definitely have to keep an eye on him, because I'm nervous he's going to think that he's like the girls' babies that he can just put under his arm and walk around with. We don't need that. So,
baby is due December 28th, and thank you very much. We're very pleased, very happy about it. So, let's see. The dog does not get under our feet at all. She actually, if she wants to play, she'll come up and paw you. But she really doesn't bother us or get under our feet.
There has been a few times when we first got her that she would come up and just stand in front of us. I don't know why she done that. Like she would just come and get in front of us, like she wanted us to stop or not go somewhere, or she didn't want somebody coming up to us. But I wouldn't say under our feet. She would just come and get like a block, like blocking us off or something.
Sam and Becky said, still praying for the first baby of the year. I'd rather it's been the first of the year than Christmas in there. So,
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up for tonight. Thank you so much for coming on. We had a lot of things to talk about. So, some good things happening. Fencing, we didn't talk about fencing, but
I think the only thing
we had 2 fencing videos, and then we have 1 more fencing video on the corner post and full post, and then we kind of start doing the fencing. So actually,
you don't realize how much physical labor and activity that is when you're doing it yourself. That's all I can say. It's just because I'm big.
Well, I'm big too, so I don't know what matters. Thank you guys for watching, and God bless.
Happy homesteading, y'all.
Happy homesteading, y'all.